Let's talk about adding and subtracting monomials. A monomial is simply a single term expression. Here's some examples. 2b by itself um, is a monomial. xy is a monomial. 10xyz is a one-term expression. 4x squared is a one-term expression. And likewise, 7x squared y squared is a one-term expression. We can only add or subtract monomials with the same verbal expression. We cannot add or subtract monomials with different verbal expressions. If monomials verbal expressions are the same, we call them like terms. And what do we mean by a verbal expression? Well, if I look at 10xyz, here the xyz is said to be the verbal expression, right? Or the x squared. It expresses the variable x raised to the second power. So we say that the terms are alike if they have the same verbal expression. I can only add or subtract expressions, monomials, with the same verbal expression. Here are some examples. 2x and 5x are like terms. They both have an x in them, and it's x to the first power. Here, 3a and a are like terms. This a is understood to be 1 times an a. The 6xy and 10xy are like terms. They have xy in them. That's the same verbal expression. 13x and 4y are unlike, right? Because here the 13 has an x, the 4 is multiplied times a y. X and y are unlike. 2xy and 5ab are unlike terms. You cannot add or subtract unlike terms. 8x and 4x squared are, again, unlike terms. We can only add or subtract terms that are alike. So here we can add and subtract. Oh boy, that should say we cannot, excuse me, we cannot add or subtract unlike terms. Well, my language is messed up. Let's say this. We can add or subtract like terms only. Sorry about that. To add or subtract like terms, simply add or subtract the coefficients, leaving the variable expression unchanged. What do we mean by the word coefficient? The coefficient is the number in front of the variable. It is actually multiplied to the variable. So if you look at 9xy, 9 is the coefficient. Negative 12ab, negative 12 is the coefficient. So now to add variable or monomials, we can only add or subtract, whatever the sign may be, if they have the same verbal expression. If they have the same verbal expression, then we simply add or subtract the coefficient, leaving the verbal expression unchanged. So we have that statement here. To add or subtract like terms, simply add or subtract the coefficients, leaving the verbal expressions unchanged. Let's underline that. So here if we add 5x plus 12x, here they both have an x in them, so we add the coefficients. 5 plus 12 is 17 times x. We leave the variable expression unchanged. 20ab and 5ab, well, they both have ab, so they're like terms. We add the coefficients. 20 plus 5, we get 25. You keep the variable expression unchanged, 25ab. 7x squared and 5x squared are like terms. They both have x squared in them, so we add 7 plus 5, we get 12 times x squared. Negative 4ab plus a negative 6a. They're like terms because they both have an a in them. So we're going to add the coefficients. Negative 4 plus negative 6 is negative 10. Negative 10 times a. Number 5, 19xy plus a negative 9xy. Well, they're like terms. They both have xy in them. Simply first deal with 19 minus 9. That's 10 times xy. You keep the variable expression unchanged. Negative 12ab plus 8ab. Well, they both have ab in them, so that means that they're like terms. So now we just add negative 12 plus 8. So if I go 12 to the left on the number line, I stop at negative 12, and then you go back to the right 8 units, you end up at negative 4. Negative 12 plus 8 is negative 4. We keep the common expression AB. Okay. So now we'll look at the assignment and work some problems over there, and I'll work them. And so you can see how I work them. And the work that I would do is just simply I key in the answers the way how they have the grid there, and we're using this information here as our guide.